Good morning, students. So, in the last class, we discussed about status of women after independence, and we discussed the discrimination. We discussed how women lag behind men despite various improvements since independence, but we still live in a male-dominated patriarchal society. And a very fine example of this thing that we still live in a patriarchal society was the literacy rate, work culture, female feticide. Now, the next topic that we had to discuss was the violence, harassment, and exploitation. Now, student, the violence, harassment, and exploitation, all three are different terms, right? But they are closely linked with each other. When we discuss or when I talk about violence, it is not just the physical violence that is imposed on the women. It is not just the beating, the torturing of the women that you see, that more often. It is also about the mental violence, that is the mental harassment, I can better term it as, that is seen in day to day basis. Right, you'd see it in terms of exploitation also, how women are being exploited for their work, as in, no matter for how long a woman is working, for what she is dedicated to do, but she is not paid adequately, then she is exploited every now and then on the basis of the fact that she is a woman. Right, she is a woman, so she is exploited on just this basis. It is not that male exploitation is not there. It is very much there, students. But when you compare the data, when you compare the ratio, you see that the woman is on a larger side. Okay, then as far as harassment is concerned here, harassment, again, it's about the mental harassment, the mental torture, the mental tension that she goes through. Most of the women here, especially in India, the rates are very high, very very high. It is the nicer picture that you see, that yeah, fine, your women in and around your surrounding are very happy, living a very fine life, earning a daily wage, most of the working women as well. But there are certain mental harassment, mental torture, physical harassment that they have to go through. Right, so that all comes within the harassment. And I have always told you, if you want to know the rate, the intensity about the harassment, about the violence, about the discrimination against women that is going on in the country and is going on in the society, take a note of 1 week newspapers, students. Okay, just take for example, you start with this Sunday till the next Saturday. If you do that, take a section of make a note, make a file of the only those cases where women are being tortured, women are being harassed, women are being killed, all such news. Okay, and then in 1 week you'll see that your file is having a plenty of the news where you see such cases are reported. Mind you, there are many cases which are not reported. Okay, so such is the situation after independence, since independence as well. So, how can we say that we are independent? Right? The word itself comes into question. So, that is the situation of women that we are more concerned about. So, all this is well known. It is nothing new that we are discussing, right? So, how to improve this? What to do about it? Issues related to women are there, yet issues related to women's well-being or otherwise are never given adequate attention. The punishments are very less here. There is no proper law which addresses a vast punishment, which can create a fear in the mind of the people. Or forget about punishment is when a law is broken, forget about that. There is no such law that can breed equality also. Okay, so even if it exists on a marginal level, it exists on a very very low level. It is not that profound, it is not that mature. that we can bring it into use. So that has led many feminist and women movement to the conclusion that unless women control the power, unless they get the power, their problems will not get adequate attention. So one way to ensure this is to have more women as elected representatives. So when we say more women as elected representatives, I mean more women in the political field. So in India, if you see the proportion of women in legislature, then that is very low. Elected women members in Lok Sabha is less than 10% of their total strength. In state assemblies, they are less than 5%. So India is at the bottom group of nations in the world. You have this data that is given in your book, right? Here you see women in national parliaments in different regions of the world in percentage, and you see where India stands, just next to Arab states. So are we in such situation where we are standing? Are we so uneducated? Are we so not independent? Are we so yet not so mature, so not educated that we will lie over here? Don't you think we deserve a position to be right in the first position? Even I consider this not very, it should be more than 100. It should complete the percentage. But we lag on 8.3, whereas world average is 16.8. But the cap, let's first discuss the problem before going on to the improvements. You see the cabinets, even the cabinets within the government are largely male, even when a woman becomes chief minister or prime minister. And if here I tell you about the Indian government at present, who is that woman whom you will credit for leading the group of powerful men? It's undoubtedly Mrs. Nirmala Sitharaman, right? A very powerful lady controlling a group of very, very, very powerful, learned, respectable men, right? Okay, so the solution for all this problem of discrimination, the problems of not getting addressed, one way to solve this problem was to make it legally binding to have a fair proportion of women in the elected bodies, and that was done through the establishment of Panchayati Raj system. The Panchayati Raj system, where 1/3 of the seats in the local government bodies are reserved for women. Right. Now, when I have said Nirmala Sita Raman here, and I talked about controlling a powerful group of men, okay, that is because she is the defense minister. Okay, so kindly don't get confused as whom is she controlling and that is where. So that is because she's controlling the powerful group of army, right, being a lady. So that is one fine example I could have given you over here. All right, let's come to the solution where I talked about Panchayati Raj system, where 1/3 of seats in the local government bodies are reserved for women. So today we have more than 10 lakh women representatives in the rural bodies and urban bodies. Demands are therefore raised for reservations of seats even in Lok Sabha and in the state assemblies as well. Right. But the problem over here is a bill where the proposal has been laid for bringing more women into the parliament, that doesn't get the consensus. There is no consensus over this among all the political parties. Why? Now that is because the larger part of the population, the larger part of the cabinet, the larger members of the parliament is a male dominated house. Parliament is more a male dominated house. You find you see here I've presented you with a picture. If today you make a comparison, you sit you try and see on the news channel one session, any session of the parliament, you will find most of the seats, if not vacant, then they are filled with males, with less number of women. Why? Number one, half of the women, even if they stand for the elections, they contest elections, they don't get vote. Number two, even if they get vote, their work is done by any of the male members in their houses. So they do not come in the brighter picture. And that is what has created a mentality in the minds of the people that even if women gets elected, even if a woman is, contesting for power, she is winning the election, still the work will anyway be done by the male members of the family. So it's okay, why not to make the male only contest elections? That is the mentality. Therefore we need a change over here, and that is somehow one another reason why the bill remains pending with no consensus. So, gender division is an example that some form of social division needs to be expressed in politics as well. This also shows that disadvantaged groups do benefit when social divisions become a political issue. And when it becomes a political issue, when the social issue gets on the table of the parliament. All right, students? So, if you try to know here, then you will understand that women could have maintained the gains, they have benefited from the gains only if they would have got addressed, they would have got their attention in the political domain. Right. So that is another, that is how women could have emerged powerful, more powerful. All right. Okay, students. So that is for today. In the next class, we'll discuss about this data, that is the 16th Lok Sabha election and 17th Lok Sabha elections, where the position of women has improved to a much greater level, how they have participated and how they have been accepted by the society also. All right. Okay. Thank you, students. If you have any problem, do let me know.